Physical Topo being the current Dokkan Fest over on JP is very exciting because we have been waiting for a very specific Universe 11 EZA. Now, when you look at this roster of characters, I would hope at least that one character shines. And, you know, it's unfortunate that STR Jiren had to get his EZA a little bit earlier. They could have easily waited, to be honest, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the only LR on this category. This guy, when I say needs an EZA, he desperately needs an EZA. The thing with him, when he first released, he was definitely very powerful, but he was, you know, a very bland character. He showed up, had this, and that's really it, right? So I wanted to go ahead and show you this EZA that I, you know, quote unquote cooked up for him, and you're gonna be the one deciding whether I cooked or not, let's be real. But I wanted him to obviously be a lot better. I wanted his defense to actually be, you know, usable in today's meta. I think I gave him some pretty strong stuff, but it's Jiren, dude. He is not only hitting extremely hard, he is extremely tanky. And I tried to design him with this physical Topo in mind. Like, at first I was going to give, you know, let's say Jiren, you know, some turn one kind of effect, but Topo here really wants to be ran in, you know, slot one, right? So I kind of wanted to make sure that the build I went for here doesn't really impede too much with what Topo is doing. And let me just show you, and you can let me know what you think if you're enjoying the video or enjoy these types of videos or want to see more of these videos or just, you know, want to support. Feel free to subscribe. I appreciate you. It really does help. Let's move into the video. So this is the idea, the EZA idea I made up for him. There's a lot of stuff here, but we'll get to it, okay? I didn't change the leader skill because I don't care. Okay, so we might as well just compare, right? Okay, so his previous super attack effect for the 12 key was just causes colossal damage and greatly lowers defense. Now it's raises attack and defense for one turn, and then greatly lowers attack and defense. And then his 18 key is again mega colossal damage and massively lowers defense with a medium chance of stunning the enemy. So I bumped that up. I gave him massively raises defense for one turn. This Jiren definitely had some, I wouldn't say defensive issues, but today's meta is not going to treat this guy favorably at all. So I think having that massive defensive raise gives him utility, not just in what his passive can do, but also gives him that third slot utility on the, like a team like tournament participants, because any character who's in the third slot who can massively raise their defense before they get hit is going to allow you to not die in that third slot, right? So it just gives him, again, flexibility where he doesn't have to be that first one, or, you know, one in the first slot. He can work in slot 2, or he can easily work in slot 3, because you're not really trading anything off. Like, he may not be supporting in slot 3, but he's not going to get killed in slot 3 with that. And then, of course, massively lowers attack and defense, and then a high chance of stunning the enemy. This is the passive I went for him. So I kept the attack and defense the same. I think 200% is a very high number. We just have to increase or add some other stuff here. But then I gave him 5 key at the start of turn. I think 5 key on top of, like, start of turn is going to really allow this character to see this, you know, the 18 key here. Without it, he was just getting 5 key, and the 5 key was gradual. He started off the rotation with no key, you know, so getting that 5 key immediately and then building up to another 5 here, which I'll show you in a second down here, it's going to allow him to really get that 18 key, and you're going to be able to really see his defense spike, or at least if you're not going to see it, you know, be able to see the actual number, you're going to see how good defensively he's going to be. Damage reduced from normal attacks by 88%. 88, the reason why I chose that number is because he's Universe 11, and 11 is, you know, like a factor, or 88 is, okay, 11 goes into 88. That's basically what I'm trying to say. 11 is a multiple of 88. There you go. Okay, cool. Sorry if I'm breathing weird. It's allergies and asthma. I'm sorry. Let's continue. Anyways, attacks effective against all types. So before, that was only basically locked behind when the target enemy is in attack down or defensive down status. Now it's literally just on at all times. And the 88% damage reduction here for normal attacks, I feel like is very you're not going to take down Jiren with a normal attack. You need to really hit this guy. So I just don't see normal attacks doing him any damage, and I think this is not really too broken of an ability. You know, we have bosses super attacking like 2-3 times a turn, and if they want to kill Jiren, that's the where they're gonna have to do it, because Jiren is not he's not playing around when it comes to normal attacks. Just leave it like that. Okay, he gets 55% when attacking. Again, multiple of 11, plus an additional attack, plus 50%, 55% when performing an ultra super attack. So you see, the reason why I only went with defense and not attack here is because he's getting, okay, 55% attack on super, and then, or I guess just attacking, and then an extra 55% to attack when attacking is very strong for an LR. With these kind of stats, with a super attack raise of 5, right? Like, it's very strong. So you have to understand that even though it doesn't look crazy, he's going to be hitting a lot harder already. He gets ki +1 up to 5, attack and defense plus 11% up to 55%, and reduces damage received by 11% up to 33% with each attack received. Before, it was just ki per attack received. I just don't think that's enough. I think he's going to need some base damage reduction, not including normals, right? Because, you know, if he gets hit with a super attack, he just has no way to defend himself. So I thought 33% damage reduction, you know, is fine, because he can build up to basically 255% to defense, right? So it technically, we are increasing this, but it's just, you know, by getting hit, not just start of turn. So when you have 255% to attack and defense, and you're massively raising your own defense on top of 33% damage reduction, you're going to be, I'm not going to say A-okay defensively, but you're not going to be, you know, a massive liability. You also have to understand that Topo is a character who is supporting, right? Special Pose and Defenders of Justice, a category allies 1 ki and 30% to attack and defense. So Jiren, of course, you know, is in those categories, so he's going to be getting support from that anyways. And Universe 11 also has decent support outside of Topo. So let's just say, for a quick second, I pulled up Universe 11 here. Let's say I pulled up the int Topo. This character, let's see. Yeah, so Universe 11 category allies 3 ki and 30% to attack and defense. I can also pull up, let's say, if I go back to Universe 11, sorry. Let's say I pulled up a character like Margarita, right? So her ability to support, let me see where it is. Yeah, all allies 3 ki and attack and defense plus 40%. And then she gives an additional 20% to attack and defense for Realm of God, Siblings Bond, and Bond of Master and Disciple. Jiren, from my understanding, is only on the Realm of Gods category. So he's getting what, 60% to yes, 60% to attack and defense and 3 ki. So like, me not buffing his attack even more is like, I think that's okay, right? He's getting attack from so many other places, even from his 12 ki as well. I think the focus for this EZA is to make him just defensively viable, which I think we definitely did. And then, of course, increases offenses. Now, this is another improvement here. Performs a critical hit when the target enemy is stunned, sealed, or is in attack down or defensive down status. So before, the only time he would actually crit is when they were in attack down or, just stunned. So if your enemy has any of those 4 ailments, basically he's going to be performing a critical hit, which of course is a lot easier to see that. Starting from the next turn, foresees enemy super... I spelled foresees wrong, my bad. Foresees enemy super attacks for 2 turns after this character or another tournament participants category ally attacking in the same turn lands the final blow up to 2 times. So the reason why I chose 2 turns here is because imagine, for example, you're running this, you know, Jiren with, you know, this physical Topo, right? Okay. Let's say this Topo lands the final blow. Since Jiren didn't, it doesn't matter, because as long as there's another tournament... I'm speaking so fast. Let me slow it down. Because there's another tournament participants category ally attacking the same turn who landed the final blow, starting from the next turn for 2 turns, which means when Jiren comes back on rotation, you're going to be able to foresee enemy super attacks. Now, when Jiren comes back on rotation, if you happen to kill the enemy again with a character who's on that category, you're going to be able to basically hop into the next 2 turns with the ability to foresee enemy super attacks. So I think it being up to 2 times is definitely, I wouldn't really call that broken. And 2 turns, I also wouldn't really call that broken. Like, I could see the argument to say, yo, look, if this character or another tournament participant's category ally attacking in the same turn lands the 5 final blows or 3 final blows, we can just foresee enemy super attacks for the rest of the battle. I can see that as well. But I think with everything else that he does, the fact that he's not taking damage from normals at all, especially after he gets hit, because, dude, 33% damage reduction generally, with an 88% normal attack damage reduction, he's not taking damage from normal. You can't take damage from normals. And the moment he gets his 18 ki off, he's going to have a lot of extra attack power coming from that. But when this defense is built up, his defense is going to skyrocket as well. So I feel like to be able to foresee enemy super attacks is not really, like a broken ability to add on top of that. But let me know what you think. And then, of course, when it comes to the active skill, I did just recover 30% HP, because why not, right? I think tournament participants could use a nice active skill heal on the team. And then I did increase the all enemies attack and defense by this was 30% before, right? This was 30% before. Yeah, so I just increased it to basically 50%. And that's pretty much it. I left this alone. I was considering bringing this to 3 attacks, to be honest. But I feel like, he's going to be okay. The only issue here is that he wants to get hit, whereas Topo wants to be in that first slot. So, and the first slot tends to be where a lot of the attacks are. So you're going to have to get lucky, I guess, putting him in slot 2 or slot 3. Another thing we could have done is given him some support in slot 3 or slot 2 to better fit with Topo being in slot 1, right? But again, there's many, literally millions of different combinations and things I could have done. This is what I chose to do. I think with this, you're getting a nice, healthy attack balance. So raising attack on 12 ki is powering up his attack. The fact that he's getting 5 ki is going to make his ki meter go up a lot higher than normal, which is going to, of course, increase his attack. 55% to attack on just normal attacking and performing a super attack is going to be very strong. Building up an extra 55% attack here is going to be very strong. Being able to see the crit a lot more often is going to make him look a lot stronger. And then defensively, we have, of course, the 88% damage reduction for normals, the 33% damage reduction normally, and then of course the extra 55% to defense here, while raising defense on 12 and massively raising defense for 1 turn on 18 ki, which is where I think the defensive balance for this character comes in. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace.